Okay, team, I am so excited. This is our team huddle we're starting to do where we're just coming together after other calls, getting information and things of that nature and moving forward in our business because that's what we have as a business and we've got to run it well. And so my favorite is that I get to bring some friends every now and then to a lot of our huddles. I used to do this in the past and I'm trying to bring a lot of it back where sometimes you don't know who's coming. And that's what's amazing is you get the surprise of coming on and just seeing who's going to be on, and you get to hear the amazing tips that they're going to be sharing. So Jessica and I have known each other for a while. We have been doing Genevieve sprints together, and we have learned a lot. And I've definitely messaged her now and then on certain things, and it's really great to kind of hear from Genevieve herself, but also be alongside of other amazing jewels that you can lean in and say, okay, wait, did I hear this right? Did she say this? Like, oh, okay, or whatever. And so I cannot wait for her to just share whatever's on her heart for us in our business today so that we can grow and end this amazing month with double credits for convention. We have things that are just powerful. We have ease. Hello, free ease. We have a challenge going on right now. Doesn't mean we can't have another one later too, so we can double up on that if we need to. But either way, great opportunities this month to grow your business. Do not sit on it. No excuses on this. This is an incredible month to move forward the needle. Action breeds action. So, Jessica, take it away. And thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thanks, sweet friend. I just love you. Do you want me to share a little bit of my story first?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I'm Jessica Wagner, like Cassie said, and I am a board certified pediatrician. I'm a mom of 4 little kids, and I'm a sapphire with Plexus. So that's kind of a little bit of that. So I started the Plexus products in July of 2016. So I've been around for quite a while now. And I started because I had been learning a lot about gut health in my continuing medical education classes. My husband and 2 of my kids have celiac disease, and 2 of my kiddos have significant food allergies too. So that's kind of what set me on the path of looking into gut health. And the more I learned, the more I was like, maybe this could help me out a little bit, because I was struggling with significant exhaustion. I could not fall asleep at night, but I couldn't stay awake during the day. I lived on candy to stay awake. I was never like a soda or coffee girl. I just was candy was my thing. And so as a result of all that sugar, you can imagine I was quite puffy and inflamed and just kind of achy all the time, miserable, had lots of headaches, calf cramps, all the things. So I was also a super backed up person looking back, like even in childhood, but I just thought that was how everybody pooped. So it became a real problem when I got pregnant. And so I had been on daily stool softeners for 7 years by this point in time when I started. I got some probiotics, magnesium, vitamin D. I'd already been on a multivitamin for 1,000 years, and nothing changed because I was getting those products from Walmart or Costco, and I still felt the same. And I was like, well, okay, that didn't work. And then I was introduced to Plexus, and I was home on maternity leave after my 4th baby when I heard about Plexus. And so my husband's cousin is the one who told me about it. She had been posting about it for a while, and I every once in a while would see a post and just scroll on by. And then she was like, I'm looking for 2 more people to try my pink drink for 7 days. And I was like, Jen, I've been looking at this stuff, and I see that you've got a really great probiotic. What the heck is this pink drink? And she was like, well, it's all about blood sugar balance. And I was like, it gets rid of sugar cravings? Huh? And she was like, yeah. So I signed up as an ambassador right out of the gate because I wanted to get the best price because I'm a cheapskate. And what was I going to say? Oh, I'm not a nurse, Cassie. I'm a doctor. That was what distracted me. Okay, so where was I? Anyway, I signed up as an ambassador to get the cheapest price. I also knew that a 7-day trial was not going to do anything. I was like, forget about 7 days. I will do 90. And if it works after 90 days, I'll keep taking it because I know that body physiology, that's how long it took. So within the first 3 days of drinking the pink drink, I stopped getting in my candy cabinet all day long. And I was like, that's weird that I have not been in that cabinet, and I'm home on maternity leave. And I haven't been in there at all. Within a week and a half, I got off my daily stool softeners, have never taken another one since, and haven't needed one, and poop way better than I ever have in my life. I still tell people, I'm like, if that was the only thing that changed, I would still be taking these products 7 years later. It literally, if I still had everything else, but that one thing changed, I'd still be here. Okay. So, and then over the first 3 months, the rest of it was gradual. There was no light bulb moments other than I stopped taking the stool softeners. My energy level improved and I started like going outside and playing with my kids instead of them dragging me off the couch to come watch them play after work. I started falling asleep really quickly and I was like, that's weird. I have a newborn. She wakes me up. Once I went back to work, I had to take call and I could go right back to sleep. And I was like, this is glorious. I stopped having headaches. Didn't realize how many headaches I had until they were gone. Um, I lost 12 pounds my first 3 months, 30 pounds the first 9 months. And honestly, I think it's because I stopped eating all the sugar. Like that was a huge part of it was I just stopped eating the junk and I just listened to my body. And so I literally felt like I came alive again. The brain fog went away. I just felt like a new human. And so I was like, okay, everybody needs this because I was a healthy person with absolutely no medical diagnoses before I started Plexus, but I felt like crap. And I know that there are a gajillion moms out there who feel the exact same way and dads. And so that was when I started telling people was about 3 months into my journey, mostly because I happened to see a video on my uplines page that was like, how to get your products paid for. And I was like, I can get my products paid for? I mean, I can pay for them, but who wants to pay for anything when you can get it for free? So I did everything she told me to do. And I went silver really quickly. I signed 6 people up off my first post. I ranked, so that was in October. I ranked silver. In January, I ranked gold. They didn't have senior silver then. In May, I ranked senior gold at convention in Las Vegas. So my one huge plug to you too is if you are not already signed up for convention, you need to go. Because when I ranked senior gold at convention and I saw my upline on the stage and I saw the jewels on the stage, I was like, I'm going to be a jewel next time I walk on that. Like next time we come to convention. I was like, that looks pretty cool. So that was 2017. The next year at convention, I was a senior ruby. I was not yet emerald, but I was getting there. And then in 2019, I ranked emerald. And then in 2020, I ranked sapphire. And I've been there since then, and that's okay. Because I did all of that, you guys, while I was working full-time as a physician, more than 40 hours a week, and raising 4 babies. Okay. I have an incredibly supportive husband. He's a stay-at-home dad, so he takes care of a lot around the house as well, which was a huge blessing to me. But I just did it. And in every nook and cranny I could, I worked 4 days a week full time. And so on my day off, while my kids were gone, I mean, I still had babies, so they were home, but I just found a way to do it. Right. And I developed a follow-up system and just did it. And so that's kind of my health story turned into my business story. In June of 2021, I actually left full-time medical practice because of my Plexus business allowed us to do that. We were able to buy a bigger home in 2020. And then in 2021, I left my full-time practice. And now I still practice as a physician a few times a month. And then the rest of the time, I'm the PTA vice president at my kids' school, and I do Plexus. So it's really, really amazing and such a beautiful experience. So that's my story. And I will just tell you that if you think you're too busy to do this business or that you'll never make it because you have too much going on in your life, that's hogwash. I'm sorry, but I just have to say it. Because if I can get to Sapphire working full time as a physician with 4 little tinies at home, you can do it. Okay. All right. Now, as a stay-at-home mom, most of the time, I'm like, dang, this is crazy. You have to be dedicated. You got to be committed. And you do have to block out the time. You have to make time for your business. It's not going to just fall in your lap. If you don't make time for it, it won't happen. So you have to schedule it into your day. And that's okay. And it's okay for your kids to see you on your phone doing your business when you're like, listen, this is what pays the electric bill. This is what's taking you to Disneyland next week. Leave me alone, right? Like, don't get on me for being on my phone when I'm actually working. If I'm not actually working and my kids are like, Mom, you're playing a game, I'm like, oh, sorry, let me put that away. Okay. Anyway, what I wanted to talk to you tonight, 2 things. 1, We're going to talk about your commitment to your business, because your business is yours. It is not anyone else's. It's not Cassie's. It's not your upline, your downline, your sidelines. It's not any of theirs. It's yours. And you get to decide just exactly how successful that business will be. Okay? And you have to take sole 100% responsibility for what happens in that business. And that is not always easy to do, because sometimes we're like, well, nobody wants to work with me. Okay, then go find somebody who will. Well, nobody's doing what I'm telling them to do. Okay, then go find somebody who will. Or maybe you need to reassess what you're telling them, right? So you are single-handedly responsible for what happens in your business and for your level of success and for your speed, right? Because you could post once a week. You'll get there, but it's going to take you a really long time to grow your business and take root. So mindset plus expectations plus commitment. Mindset, expectations, commitment. That is the key to get you to where you want to go. You have to have all three. If you've got mindset issues, I know Cassie's like the queen of sending the motivational videos because she sends them to me too. She's sending them to y'all, right? And so if you need help with your mindset, reach out to Cassie. She's got your back. Okay. She will hook you up there. And then the expectations, that is your expectations of yourself. Are you raising your expectations of yourself and meeting them? Or are you letting yourself off the hook? There have definitely been seasons in my business when I've been like, why is nothing happening in my business? Why have I not recruited a single person this month? And I realized it's because I am letting myself off the hook. I'm being like, oh, I didn't quite get to those asks today, but it's fine. I had a lot going on. I'll do it tomorrow. And then 3 days go by and I haven't asked a single person to check out my business. Then I have to realize, like, am I meeting my own expectations or am I letting myself off the hook? And you have to just do that self-assessment. And then it's commitment. How committed are you to your success? Right? Like, that one hurts a little bit sometimes when you're like, oh, maybe I'm not as committed as I once was, or maybe I'm not committed as I want to be, or maybe I'm too scared to commit to this because what if I suck at it? Guess what? Everybody sucks at it at the beginning and at every new beginning, because we have new beginnings in every phase of our business. Every time you hit a new rank and you're looking at a new leadership level, you stink at what you're doing until you learn the skills that you need to move forward. So your level of commitment, if you're afraid that you're going to stink at something, guess what? You just have to shoot that fear right over your head and say, I'm committed to making this work no matter how messy it looks. No matter how many times I stumble, no matter how many messages I send that I go back and listen to, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I said that? I'm so sorry, right? I have literally gone back to messages that I sent to people like in 2017, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing that I sent you that message. I'm so sorry. I hope that you don't think that I'm like a scuzzy person, but I'm still here. And if you ever want to chat, let's do it, kind of thing. So take ownership, right? Just take ownership and take one step forward, no matter how messy it is. Okay. There will be days that you do not feel like doing this. There are going to be weeks when you're like, I don't really feel it. I'm not feeling this right now because nobody's joining me. Well, nobody's for sure going to join you if you're not doing anything, right? So the way, like Cassie said, action creates more action, right? And if you want results, you have to have action. That's really it. People are not going to be banging on your door saying, hey, are you still drinking that pink drink? Can I have some? When you haven't talked to anybody about it for a long time, when you haven't been posting about it, when you haven't been advertising, right? Now, don't advertise in a scuzzy way. Don't post graphics and don't post prices and things like that. Advertise how it's benefiting you in your life. Advertise how grateful you are that you are no longer addicted to Skittles, right? Because of a pink drink. Advertise how grateful you are that you can put your wedding ring back on your finger because you lost some weight and some inflammation. Like, those are the stories that are going to get people to reach out to you and be like, say what? I haven't been able to wear my wedding ring in 3 years. Tell me more, right? And then they're going to be like begging you for, what do you have? Tell me more. So you have to use stories that sell. Okay. The next thing is, like, if you're feeling stuck and you're feeling like, okay, no, I'm committed and I expect this of myself, but I have no idea where to start. Like, I don't know what's missing. Okay. That you got to take a look at the skills and the systems. Okay. Are you leveling up your skills? Do you have a system for retention? Do you have a system for recruiting? Do you have a system for posting? Do you have a system for your leadership growth? If you are not leveling up your leadership and learning how to be a better leader, you're not going to be. You're going to have a whole bunch of customers, and hopefully you can take care of your customers. But until you level up your leadership, you're not going to find people who want to do the business with you, right? So, and that's the key to growth. Customers are cool and we love our loyal customers and we're so grateful for them, but they do not help you rank, right? If you want to rank, you have to find people who are willing to do this with you. And you got to sell that as what it is. Don't tell them it's a free ride. Tell them it's going to be hard work, but you're going to be there every step of the way, and you're going to give them one step at a time to get them where they want to go. And you're going to teach them instead of do it for them so that they can learn how to fly. Okay. I wanted to talk to you guys about a new system that I have been using for expanding my network and recruiting. Okay. Because I was getting to the point where I was like, I literally, like, looking back at my list, I'm like, I have talked to all of these people. Right? Anybody else ever feel that way? Like, I've talked to all of the people. There are no people left I haven't spoken to. We all know that's a lie, because you have your chicken listers that you still haven't messaged, but they're way in the recesses of your head. I have some too. 7 years in, I still have some chicken listers back in my head. So there are always more people, but this system will help you to find more people. Okay. Number one. So it's 1, 2, 3. One is you must post at least once a day. Okay. Post once a day. And this should be mostly about your life or your niche, whatever that is. So I post on my Instagram, it's almost exclusively medical tips, because when Genevieve asked me what my niche was, I was like, I don't know. And she's like, well, what do people ask you about? I was like, people ask me medical questions. She's like, then post about medical questions. So what do people ask you about? What are you an expert in that you might not feel like an expert, but your friends think you're an expert? So they come to you and they ask you questions, right? Maybe it's cooking. Maybe it's house cleaning. Maybe it's homeschool. Maybe it's exercise, whatever it is. Maybe it's dog walking. I mean, I don't know, whatever. But whatever it is people are asking you about, that is what you should be posting a lot of your content to. And then you bridge that into the outside world, right? By going to the edges of your niche, and how does that niche relate to other things, right? How does that show up in your normal life? What are other people who are just getting into that maybe interested in? Those kind of things. And then every once in a while you throw in a why you're able to do that, and it's because of Plexus, right? But you don't want to be like, okay, Plexus post of the week. Here's this ease. It's super cool. It helps you feel good. Who wants it? Right? No, you're just going to talk about, like, I am so grateful that when I sprained my ankle 2 days ago hiking, I didn't have to take something that was going to hurt my gut. And I had this super cool depuffer and it got rid of it super fast. Right? And you're going to talk about how you're no longer eating Skittles between every patient at work because you have a pink drink that helps you with that. And those kind of things. So you're just going to share those stories. So that's your one post a day. That's number one. This is how you advertise your business, you guys. And sometimes I'm like, okay, how do I throw it in there when I'm talking about my niche? But I'm like, okay, somebody asked me the other day about thrush and babies. Guess what thrush is? Candida yeast. So when I'm talking about thrush, I'm like, well, thrush is caused by Candida. And I'm answering all of their questions. And I'm like, I just happen to have a probiotic that has good stuff in it and these magic ingredients that kill Candida, right? So it just comes in. Now, maybe you're not going to get asked those kind of questions, but you are going to get asked questions about, like, how did you get rid of your headaches? How did you, like, put your wedding ring back on? right? Those kind of things. Okay, so you're posting, that's how you advertise. And then posting your stories about anything you want, right? Your feed content should be niched, but your stories is everything and anything. Whatever happens to come to your mind, you can talk about in your stories. And that includes Plexus. Okay. All right. Number 2, 2 people a day, you are going to ask the question. Ask the question, meaning, hey, friend, I have no idea if this is for you or not, but I am looking to expand my leadership team right now. And I'm looking for women who have a heart for leadership and a desire to help people. And I totally thought of you because you're amazing. This may or may not be something you're even interested in, but would you be open to a conversation? Would you be open to a conversation? You're not asking them to join your team on the first ask. The question is, can we have a conversation? That's all you're asking people to commit to, is you're asking them to commit to a conversation. Where the conversation goes, you don't get to decide that, they do. But you have to ask the question, what do you say when they say yes? This is what I say. How's the best way to give you this information? Do you want to stay right here in Facebook Messenger? Can we hop on a phone call? You want to get on Zoom? You want to meet up if they're local? Whatever it is, the first question I ask is, how can I give you information? What's best for you? Because I want them to feel in control of the conversation. Once they give me that, I say, okay, what made you open to thinking about this? What's your situation? Right? Like, sometimes it's because people want to add a little extra income to their things. Sometimes it's because people are looking for a passion project. Sometimes people are like looking for something for themselves because they feel like they're so absorbed in motherhood and work and whatever else that they've lost themselves. What would it be for you? What would be the thing that would make you curious about this? Right? Or need community? Yes, Cassie, like, that's why some people look into this. And so you're just finding out what would even make them curious. And then you can kind of go from there. I was talking to a gal today. She used to babysit my kids for me. She's now married and almost done with college. And we were talking about, she used to be a medical assistant and she did an internship in my clinic. And so I was like, hey, did you ever find an MA job? Because she asked me for a reference like 6 months ago or something like that. And I was like, did you ever find a job? And she's like, no, it's been really hard. And especially with going to school full time, like, it's just hard to find a job that I can work around my school schedule. And I was like, I don't know if this is for you or not, but would you ever be curious about an at-home work opportunity that you could do in whatever time you want? And she was like, I'd entertain the conversation. And I was like, okay, so we're going to talk on the phone tomorrow. Because she was like, and then she was like, I could consider that. And I just told her, I was like, listen, if you're worried, because she was like, as long as I can fit it around my very busy school schedule. I was like, girlfriend, I built a 6-figure business while working full time as a physician and raising 4 kids. You can do this as a college student. And I told her, there are people in our company that are like higher than I am that are college students, like Zach Slavin and all these guys, right? Like, they're young people doing this. And I was like, first step is you got to love the products. So, do you have any health issues that you're dealing with? And she's like, well, I'm going to my doctor tomorrow, so I guess I'll find out. I was like, cool. Let's talk after your doctor's appointment tomorrow, right? Because before you're going to talk to them about silver or any kind of rank or anything like get 3 people, when they ask you how to get started in this business, you simply tell them the first step is loving the products, because we want you to feel comfortable selling, like, right? And I'm not even going to say the word selling. I just say I want you to love the products, because that's really it. The products will sell themselves. So that is how that conversation goes. But you have to ask 2 people the question every single day. Okay. And then some of you are like, I don't have 2 people to ask every day. How am I going to find 2 people? Well, that's number 3. Okay. So number 3 is 3 people a day. You are going to find, add, message. Find, add, message. This comes from Fraser Brooks. If you're not following him, he's the network marketing ninja. He's amazing. His podcast, this was from a podcast in March, I think. Find, add, message. So that means that you are going to either go to Facebook groups, related to things you're interested in. Don't join groups if you have zero interest in the topic. That's dumb. But you can go to Facebook groups. I've done this and ask a question in the group. Okay, so I asked for what was one that I did? Oh, I was like, you guys, my boys are constantly complaining about long sleeve white shirts for church on Sunday. Like, who can tell me where I can find short sleeve white shirts for my boys to wear to church on Sunday? And guys, I can look on Amazon. I already know the answer to that question. But when you ask in a group of moms, right? Because it's a mom's group that this one was in, like 50 people give me their favorite brand of their white shirts. And guess what I did? Instead of commenting on their comment, I liked their comment. I sent them a message and I was like, that's so awesome. Which brand do you like on Amazon? Are they see-through? Are they like good quality? Are they going to hold up for my 3 boys to get through if I buy the biggest size? So then you're just asking them a question. So find add messages, find a person, add them as a friend, and send them a message that includes a question. Okay. And the whole point is to just ask them a question to start a conversation. That's all you're doing. You're not trying to recruit them. You're just asking a question to start a conversation. And then I've had several of these. I asked for like movie ideas that are family friendly movies in one group. I asked for different things like this. So you just ask a question in a group about a topic in the group. And then and I did not message every single person that responded to my post, by the way, you guys. Like the ones that I looked at their profile, I was like, are you a real person? Are you creepy? And some of the comments I was like, okay, cool. Like you barely answered that question. But the ones that like gave you a paragraph of information, that lady wants to chat, right? So that's who I messaged and I would ask questions. And I've been in conversations with some of these people, and some of these people, it turns into health stuff. And I'm like, hey, I might have something that could help you. Would you be open to hearing about it? Right. And so if the conversation gets there, and some of those conversations haven't yet, but every person that you find add message goes on your list, because that means you're going to check out their page every now and again. You're going to comment on their posts. You're going to be watching for an opportunity to ask the question. Right. But they go on your list. So the other places to do it is in Instagram. You can follow hashtags like Cassie mentioned. And if you find a person that's using that hashtag that you feel like you would relate to, you can follow them, right? It's a little harder to send them a message directly if they have a private account, because they have to accept your follow first before you can message them. But you can comment and then you can send the follow. And if they follow you back, then you can send a message. The other way is to follow influencers in your niche. Okay. You are not trying to friend the influencer. Okay. But you're going to follow that person's page and you're going to comment on the comments in a conversational way. So somebody posts a comment on the post that you're like, oh, I totally feel the same way. You can comment on that person's comment. Oh, this totally resonates with me. Thank you for your insight, right? Something like that. You can go to their profile, look at their stories, look at their stuff, and see if that's a person you want to follow. And then you do the same thing. So that's how you can find add message. But you want to find add message 3 people every day. The other one is like friends of friends. They give you the suggested friends people. On Facebook, I always look at those. And if we have like 5 or more mutual friends, I'll like click on it and I'll see who the mutual friends are. If the mutual friends are all Plexus people, I don't friend request them, because I'm like, that's not my person, right? If they are all people who live in my neighborhood, I send them a friend request and then I send them a message. I send them the friend request, I send them the message, and I say, hey, looks like we have a lot of really awesome friends in common. That must mean you're awesome too. Do you live in blah, blah, blah neighborhood? Or how do you know so-and-so? So I've found some people that I have like 5 or more mutual friends with, but it's like one girl from college, one girl from high school, 2 from my neighborhood, and 1 from like work. And I'm like, how do we have so many friends in common and not know each other, like from so many different circles? So those are great conversations to start. They're great ones. So that's another way you can find add message. But if you are just sending friend requests and you are not sending the message, you're missing the boat. Okay. because just sending a bunch of friend requests does you really no good. It just and same thing on Instagram. It doesn't really do you a whole lot of good to just follow a bunch of people, right? So you're looking for people that you can start conversations with. Fraser also said he's like ABC 1, 2, 3. So I gave you 1, 2, 3. ABC, some people will say always be closing. He's like, no, because you cannot close if you haven't been connecting. So ABC is always be connecting. Always be connecting. Your goal, if you start your day with, okay, I'm going to recruit 2 people today. Your whole brain goes to, I'm in salesperson mode. Guess how you come off? Like a salesperson. If you change that to, I'm going to find 2 people to have a genuine conversation with today. Guess how you approach people? Like you want to be their friend. And that goes over so much better than when you come at it with a salesperson mindset. So always be connecting, do your 1, 2, 3. You notice that if I'm asking you to ask the question to 2 people a day and you're find ad messaging 3 people a day, you will never run out of people. You'll never run out of people because your list just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when you're on one of those like, okay, double convention credits, or it's the last week of the month and I'm trying to rank, you're going to ask that question to a whole lot more than 2 people a day, right? 1, 2, 3 is your daily minimums, guys. And when you're in hustle mode and you're pushing for something, you're going to amp it up. You're going to go 1, 5, 10 or something like that, where you're like, okay, I'm all in. And I might have to ask 85 people and one person's going to say yes. But guess what? You could ask 2 a day and it takes you 40 days to get to 85, 42. Or you could ask 6 a day and get there in 8 days. Okay? So if you've got big goals and you want to get there quick, you just have to ask more people, which means you just have to connect with more people. People find you from your posts. So produce content that people actually want to see. And then build relationships, start conversations. The more conversations you start, the more opportunities you will find to ask the question. And the more times you ask the question, the more likely you are to find somebody who's going to say yes. A lot of people are going to say no, and that's okay. It's totally okay for people to tell you no, because that's just how it is. Okay, that's all. I went over time. I'm sorry.
You did amazing. Like, I'm like, keep going, keep going. I don't need to pee right now. Keep going. Like,
I don't need to pee. I love you, Cassie.
I mean, I drank too much water and I had an active because that's how I roll at night. So anyway.
Well, I'm doing the reset. So I'm on day 1.
Yes, because you got yours. Mine just came in today. So
Well, mine is an old one that's been sitting on my shelf up there for like months. And so it's still the old bone broth and the old restore. And I was like, oh, okay, I just got to get through it I can order the new stuff.
Hey, this will be the first time to have the new stuff. So I'm curious the difference. So we'll see.
So good. Okay. I'm on the product research and development focus group. So I got to taste them before they got released.
Jessika.
Hands down, like 1,000,000 times better. You will be, if you haven't done the reset in a while because you did it once and you were like, that was gross, try it again. Try it again, because the restore is like so much less bitter. It's just like now nice and like light. The bone broth has so much less bite. Like I could drink it by itself. Right now I have to mix the tomato soup and the bone broth in order to get the bone broth down.
That's what I did. Yep.
But the new bone broth that you can actually just drink. It tastes like ramen broth.
Oh, I can do that.
So it's much better. And so I have been staring at that box sitting up there for months. And I'm like, I just need to do it because I can't buy it.
You got this. Day 1. I will be pushing you tomorrow. I'll be like, all right, girl, don't eat the pretzels. I'm just kidding.
No. But see, we have lots of birthdays in my house. All 6 of us are within 3 months. 4 of us are in 3 weeks. And so I have had far too much sugar in my life the past month. And I was super feeling it. Like my hand, I was like, could barely get my wedding ring off last night. And I was like, ugh. So it was time. We're gonna depuff and get resetted. And then I go to Disneyland next week. So I can puff right back up again.
You'll walk it off. You'll walk it off. Okay, Julia, what question
Okay.
you got?
Yes, somebody
Hey,
had a question.
Jessica, I was just curious. Can you give a good reason from so I'm a nurse, but from a medical professional perspective, specifically as a physician, why is the reset so powerful and beneficial?
The reset is so powerful and beneficial because it's a nutritionally supported fast. So there are a lot of prolonged fasts out there though, but it's like, I mean, I've heard doctors that are like, do the water fast and things like that. I'm like, hey, but that's just hurting your body. Like your body needs support through that. So I love the Dr. Hartman videos. Honestly, like I'll send that to people. I'm like, here you go. I don't feel like I need to tell people anything, but I always tell them, I'm like, listen, you're going to get just what your body needs to put yourself into fat burning mode. Because if you're starving yourself, you go in starvation mode, which tells your body to hold on to everything, right? You will lose weight eventually, but you're going to lose a whole lot of water weight and not be in a great state, and you're going to feel miserable. But if you are in a nutritionally supported fast, so you're calorie deficient, but high protein, low carb, low fat, low sugar, low calorie, then your body actually can go into fat burning mode. I talked to them about the importance of protein and collagen, like collagen specifically, because the collagen also acts as prebiotic stuff in your gut. So you're totally resetting your gut. I talked to them about the importance of giving your gut a break without going on full bowel rest, right? So it resets not only your metabolism, but it resets your microbiome, because you're not giving it any crap for 3 days. So that is going to starve off the bad stuff, especially if you're still taking ProBio 5 and Slim, right? And you're nourishing all of that good stuff in your gut with the ingredients in the reset. And so you're setting yourself up to just like, it's the fastest way to reset your microbiome, right? ProBio 5 does a great job, but it's slow. So
Have you
the
guys
reset does that. The other thing is I think it resets your mood. You guys notice that?
Yes.
The first time I did the reset, I felt like this cloud of anger just like dissipated. I was like, I did not realize how agitated and irritated I was with my family until I stopped feeling that way.
It's
Right?
funny.
So there's lots of other benefits than just weight loss. 5 pounds of weight loss in 3 days is actually my least important factor. I'm like, I just want to feel good.
Yeah. Have you guys noticed much of it helping with like detoxing? You know how a lot of people, whenever they would first start the triplex, would have like a few weeks of detoxing. Have they noticed that it helps to decrease that time of how much they detox?
It depends on the person, and I'll be honest, I do not start very many people right out on the reset. I would rather have you do triplex for a month and do the reset at the end of your month, because I've had too many people that try the reset and on day 2 they're like, I am returning this and getting my money back. I will never do this again.
Okay.
Because they feel they're like dying inside, right? And so I think that a lot of the trials, when people were like, yeah, 3 days is hard, but you can do it, everybody in that trial was already on plexus.
Yeah.
They had already been doing the slow work, right? And so I just ran into too many of those that I was like, listen, especially if they're a person that I'm pretty sure they're going to detox because they got lots of stuff going on. I'm like, what we need to do is we need to start getting that shift in your body first. So get the reset triplex welcome pack, but we're going to get you on a few weeks of the triplex first. And so I also will ask them, like, what would be a good week for you to have 3 days when you don't have as much going on in your life and you can commit to doing this? And they're like, well, that won't be for 3 more weeks. And I'm like, perfect. Let's get you started on the triplex so we can prime the pump. And that's going to make your reset easier and more effective. So, and I haven't had anybody who's like thrown it at me and said they're getting their money back if I've done it that way. I've had a few who've done that when they started with just the triplex, mostly because they order it and I'm like, hey, tell me when you get your package, I'm going to help you get through this reset. And they never talked to me until after they threw it away on day 2. And I'm like, I can't help you if you don't let me help you. So I try hard, but some people just are too independent. I cannot relate to that in the least.
I get it.
I might be that person. Oh, my daughter made a kite. while I was here on this call.
I love that.
Yeah.
Y'all have any other questions for Jessika really quick? Like, you've got her, do it now. Don't regret it. I'm just so glad a lot of y'all popped on too.
I don't have a question. I do want to say just thank you for coming on because I've learned a lot just in the last little bit.
Oh, thanks. Happy to do it. It's honestly, it's so funny because Cassie did my team call for me yesterday. I was working in the clinic, and so I was not there, and we had a few issues, and I apologize, Cassie, for putting you in that situation. But my team, like so many of the things that we say, right? It's not necessarily different than what Cassie's telling you, but it's like a magic of hearing it from somebody else, right? Just reinforces that. And Cassie and I have been students of the greatest teacher in Genevieve. And so it's nice to be able to share that. And we all say it in just a tiny little different way and bring our own flavor to it, and it makes all the difference, which means you can add your own flavor too, right? And you should be. Don't try to like copycat exactly the words, because it won't feel authentic, and then you won't want to do it anymore. So find your own way. But there are a few like key phrases that make it, that's the core, and then you put your own fluff, right? But you're always going to say things like, this may or may not be for you. Are you open to hearing more? What are your thoughts on that? Right? Like those phrases should just come right out of your mouth with no second thought. When you say it may or may not be for you, you automatically just gave the person permission to tell you no without any hard feelings. And that takes all of the awkwardness out of it. And then like some people will say, well, I don't want to ruin my relationships. I'm like, then don't. Nobody's asking you to ruin relationships. What I'm asking you to do is offer something to somebody, and they get to choose if they say yes or no. And it has nothing to do with you. So if you're in that place where you are feeling like when somebody tells you no, it means you're doing something wrong, you just have to let that thought go. Because the thing, like I tell my team all the time, I'm like, guys, our job is to educate and invite. That is it. Your job is not to sell anybody anything. Your job is to educate and invite. And then if somebody accepts your invitation, then your job goes into providing information, which is just more education, right? It's really all it is. Educate and invite to the next step, which is to invite to a conversation, and then invite to a next step of the conversation, invite to watch a video, invite to attend an event, invite to take the next step. All of your product users, you're going to invite them to level up their Plexus journey and get their products paid for. Would you like to, like, I know you're loving your products. Have I forgotten to tell you that there's an opportunity for you to get the cost covered? I would hate for finances to ever get in the way of your health journey. Can I tell you more? That's all you say. You don't tell them what they have to do to get their products paid for, right? You don't ask somebody to find 3 friends to do it with them. You just ask them if they're interested in the next step. And then when they rank silver, you don't even have to tell them they rank silver. You just say, congratulations, you just got a nice little bonus. Would you like to do it again? Right? So it's just baby steps. And then you'll have people who are like, how big is this? Then you send them diamond documentaries, right? That's what you do. You don't need to tell anybody about ranks or any of that until they're like about to hit gold. And then you'd be like, guess what? You're about to hit the 3rd rank in the company and officially become a leader in our company. Because when you're gold, you get to go to this special training that is for leaders. And you get to go to gold school, right? And at that point in time, would you like to see what that would look like and see what it would look like to take this even further? And that's when you can kind of take the next step. But at the beginning, you're just like, you got 3, you want to do it again? You want to show your customers how they can do that? We'll just do exactly what I did for you. Super simple. I showed you how to do it. Now you can show them how to do it. I'll be right here to hold your hand and help answer any questions. Right? So just take all of the emotional attachment that you have to the results out of it. And put your emotional attachment to, I am going to connect with so many people. I'm going to be such a good friend. That's where you can put your emotions. And when you're genuine, I'm going to be honest. I had a lady that I did the find out message to probably a month ago, and we've had a few conversations over the month. She sent me a message today and she said, I want you to be totally honest with me. Did you only send me a friend request so that you could sell me your pink drink? And I've never mentioned Plexus once in any of our conversations. And I said, no, I didn't. I said, I was genuinely interested in your meatball or your sausage cheese ball recipe, actually. And then turns out we have some common friends. And so we've been chatting about them. And she shared with me that she has rheumatoid arthritis, but I haven't asked her anything yet. And I was like, did you feel like I was trying to sell you something? And she said, no, I just saw you posting about it. I was just curious because I've had friends do that to me before and it really hurt. Friends. And I was like, no. Exactly. She was triggered by a past experience. And I just said, listen, if you ever feel like you're curious about it and you want to ask me about it, I'm more than happy to tell you everything I know. But if you never want to hear about it, that's okay too. So, and when your intent is not to find a customer, but your intent is to connect and expand your network and look for opportunities to educate, that's what it is. And then they'll come to you when they're ready. Right? Or they'll open the door wide open and say, I'm having a really hard time finding a job that I can work around my full-time school schedule. And you say, I can help with that. Right? So we wouldn't have known that if we didn't have a conversation. So you have to have the conversations. Just have more conversations, as many conversations as you can have. And then the opportunity will present itself. And then ask 2 people every day, even when it feels scary, right? Because if you don't ask the question, you can't get an answer. And somebody's going to say yes. Okay, that's all for real. I could just keep going and going and going and going.
I know, but I love it because I just, I just love it. You're doing amazing. And every word you're saying is everything we really need to hear and continually need to hear, because of course the enemy's going to keep coming and he's going to be like, see, I told you, nobody likes you. Literally at the gym on Wednesday, I had a friend and she's like, okay, Cassie, tell me more about this Plexus stuff. I have messaged her. She's on the top of my list because she's got leadership qualities. Okay. Not just somebody I feel like, oh, maybe, right? She's like, I'm going to be honest with you, Cassie. I made fun of you. And I told my sister and I showed her the messages you were sending me. And they were authentic, good messages, you guys. Like, I see a lot in you good messages. And she's like, I made fun of you. And I'm like, you know what? Guess what? That's okay. I'm still here. And so you have to realize people don't see your heart yet sometimes because of bad past experiences. So she had bad past experiences. And then so after that, she's like, I'm really sorry. And she sent me a message yesterday and it was so sweet, but she wants to know about the income. She's like, do I really need to take the products? I really just want the money. I saw you post about the money the other day. And I was like, I need that kind of money. Tell me how to make that money. What do I need to do? And she's with Modere. She just orders through Modere and then orders their products. But she was like, that income looks way better than what they have to offer. So tell me how I can make the income. I don't care about the products. Tell me how I can make an income. But the thing is, did you hear me say, she said she made fun of me? And did you hear that she showed other people my messages? And she still was interested. It just took her a while. And so know that people might make fun of you, but you have to be so core to your everything that you are in the right place, in the right business. You are in the right ministry to minister to other people that really need this. You're going to have naysayers all the time. It's going to happen, but you have to be so core in your belief that you're doing the right thing. So when you feel like quitting, you know that is not in your contract that you signed with yourself on this business. Let me see if I can find her message. I'm telling you guys, I laughed and I was like, she's like, by the way, I love you. I love our friendship. So glad to have met you. You are such a blessing. And I hope I didn't hurt your feelings earlier. I just didn't know you like a year ago and you were way more quiet, which that's not the truth. And we didn't talk much, which that's not the truth. So again, she just didn't see me like she sees me now. And so that's all the difference. But it was just really sweet. And so I sent her the compensation plan because she wants business. And so she needed that business mindset. But like Jessika talked about, you guys have to learn to banter. We talk about this on our calls, banter conversation, not just literally give them everything, because then there's, think of it, if you were in their situation and you just threw everything in there and somebody just threw everything in your plate and you're like, whoa, I didn't want all these desserts and cakes and everything. I just wanted to know what might help me pooping or whatever. Right. And so we have to have that conversation. Okay. Do y'all have any other questions for Jessika really quickly? I have it seriously, girl, like fire. Like I loved this. I don't know. I just love you and adore you. Any questions? Okay. Who is committed in the chat? Who is committed to doing the things that she said? The 1, 2, 3, post 1 time a day. Yeah, this is bare minimum. Come on. 1 time a day. Talk to 2 people. You're asking 2 people about the business income. Because again, you need employees to run a business. You can find people to come in the door and order products all day long. Business asks. The third is 3 people. You're adding in your messaging. 3 people a day. If you think about it, that's only 5 people every single day. That's it. So.
You can do more than that.
Oh,
you can also do that 5 days a week. Please don't think you have to work 7 days a week.
We talk
I'm sure Cassie's talked to you about that.
Yep. I have a hard time sometimes taking days off, but I'm really trying to get better at that. But I will say that it is so powerful when you take those breathers, you come back stronger. So that's why I double up some days, because I know I need that Wednesday night off for church, or I need whatever off. So double up, create that, a while back, we did the My Amigos post from Christina Williams. Jessika, if you've watched that call, it's amazing. And you've got your 50 people, and those are the people that you're having conversations with. This is relationship building. We're not a bait and switch. Like if you heard Jessika, we're not baiting and switching people. We're like just building conversation. And if it comes up and God allows it, then great, have the conversation. So who else is committed? I see Shara is committed. Cindy's committed. Okay. I pray everybody else is committed too. I know that your non-negotiables are a lot like this anyway, so I'm just super proud of y'all. Okay, I will get this recording up for your other teammates that could not come on, so you can please share this. And Jessika, thank you again. And if you need anything, team, holler at me. Let's crush this month. It's going to be an amazing month. Bye, guys. Thank you, Jessika.